Hello, everybody. How's it
Hello.
going?
I
We're
hope we've all
back.
been well, because we're back.
We're back, baby.
We're back.
We're back. We're back.
We're back. Sorry, let's try that again.
sorry,
Let's
sorry.
sync up.
We're
We're
we're back. Sorry, my skin
back.
started just to crawl, so I decided to go ahead and finish it
Just do
off.
it. Oh, that's
Yeah.
probably for the best. Chat, if we seem a little bit tired today, it's because we've been in this Discord call for 7 hours.
Yeah.
Doing what? Just enjoying the day off, chat. Just
Yeah.
enjoying the dang day off.
We've had a very exhausting, strenuous, and draining day watching The
You
Walking
know,
Dead.
I was gonna do this whole bit about how I was like
Oh,
most productive I've ever been. Like I sent out all my emails. I
uh-huh.
had an interview. I I made lemonade. Like I did.
I made
But no, we
lemonade.
just we yeah, productive day. That'd be productive.
Yeah, that
That'd
would
be
be
good.
productive. Yeah, we watched The
Um,
Walking Dead for 7 hours. Yes,
7 hours.
it happened.
It happened, and this isn't the first time this has happened either.
No.
This is a personal hobby of ours.
This is what we do.
Listen.
This is what we do.
This
Okay.
is what we do. I'm gonna say, to get a little personal, sometimes people will say being in a long distance relationship is hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as hard as people think it is.
No.
It's
Yeah.
really not.
It's actually like the easiest thing in the world.
It's really easy. I mean, with the
So
right people,
easy.
it's gonna be easy, right? I feel like
Yeah.
it's because it's us. But my God, we just had such a great time together, just watching Walking Dead for 7 hours.
Yeah. As we
And guess
always
what we
do.
did when we were, yeah, guess what we did when we were in person? We watched
Watch
Walking
Walking
Dead
Dead for
for
7 hours.
longer,
Yeah.
probably like 20
Yeah,
hours.
I'm gonna say yeah. It was definitely twice the amount of what we did today.
Yeah, it was
2 days straight, probably.
2 days. I think it was two or three.
It was two or
We
three
watched
days.
Walking Dead, just nothing else, just sat there, watched Walking
We
Dead,
were
and
at
I
the
had a great
beach
time.
too. We were at the beach and we chose to sit inside for 2 days and watch The Walking Dead. That's how serious it
Yeah,
is.
we were in a tropical paradise, Florida.
Yeah, I was about to say, well, I would call it a tropical paradise, but
I would say there was a coconut on a tree at one point,
there was. We did see a coconut at one point, but still
and
still Florida.
we even looked for a steel drum that we didn't find.
I looked far and wide for a steel
We looked in one
drum.
store.
I was no, okay, we looked at Guitar Center. We looked at the Guitar Center
Yeah.
on University Parkway. Docks. I wanted to find a steel drum so badly, and just so y'all know, really hard to find.
Really
Really
hard to
hard to
find.
find.
Yeah.
Hard to find, at least in the States, at least in the state of Florida. Couldn't find it.
Yeah.
If someone can
But
point
hey, we had a
me,
great time though.
we did.
Um, so one of the things that I did was, so we meet up in person like every month, at most every 2 months. We try to anyway. We try to make an active effort to do so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And during this time, I have not heard her play piano in person.
Nope.
I've only heard it over a recording one time. Now,
Mm-hmm.
she used to use the excuse, I have long nails. Ah, shoot, I can't do it. I
Yeah.
got long nails. But then that kind of fizzled out. She doesn't necessarily have the long nails anymore.
Mm-mm.
So I'm
Mm-mm.
thinking, well, dang, maybe like, why haven't I heard this piano yet? So I played a little trick. We went to this music store and I said, so how do you know which piano has like, how do you know if the keys are good? Like, how do
He
you
always
know?
tricks me. He always tricks me.
So then she sits down, she goes, well, and then just busts out this friggin' piano masterpiece. It was incredible. It was beautiful.
They all
And that was
sucked,
all I
by the
wanted.
way. All the pianos sucked.
And I wouldn't be able to tell. I would not be able to tell.
Well, the keys, like, God, it's really hard to find a really good quality keyboard for an affordable price because, like, you'll get the really cheap ones that have no weight to them. The weight is very important if you want to actually learn how to play piano because
Yeah.
otherwise, you're not building any muscle strength into your fingers and you can't play more complicated pieces. But sometimes you'll get ones where, like, the keys stick, and so you
Mm.
can't play as easily as you would with a real piano because you're like your ring finger keeps getting stuck on that one key and like so yeah, there's a difference.
Hey, there's a difference. And I respect the art, and that's why it was
Yeah.
both a legitimate question, but also there was no way I wasn't gonna
Mm-hmm.
hear you not play piano on that day.
I
So it worked out
know,
for me.
but I really did set out to find a steel drum because
That is true.
like JT just said for custom Mario Sunshine music, right? That's exactly why I wanted one. I wanted like I just love the steel drum. It just sounds so like it's so happy and like imagine just being able to play that in your room to like
You
lift your
can't play a
spirits.
sad song on a steel drum. There's no such thing.
No.
Like piano is
No.
all kinds of emotion, but
Yeah.
piano is often associated with like sad music.
Mhm.
Not the steel drum.
No, not the steel drum. You play you know the Little Mermaid on that. That's why I
Yeah,
wanted it.
there's one season and one emotion that is attached to.
Yeah, it's summer. Summer,
Yeah.
baby. Yeah, but honestly
Summer.
could not find one in a store. So, I don't know if you have to travel to a specific country to buy it or if you can order. I'm sure
Mm.
you can order one, but I was fully prepared to buy like whatever their cheapest one was.
I'm not gonna fault everyone. I just want an instrument that says "Have a good summer." You know?
Yeah, hags,
Yeah.
right?
Hags, of course, hags.
You guys had hags, right? In your high
It,
schools?
that's an acronym for "Have a good summer." No, we
Yes.
didn't have that.
You guys didn't have
Uh,
hags?
we didn't have hags. I remember I brought this up to you. I said "Have a good summer." You said hags, and it took me a second to process. I'm like, oh, I get it. Makes
Yeah.
sense. I would. I had a band, no, and like we would sign yearbooks.
Mm-hmm.
I would prohibit anybody. I'm like, if you're gonna write "Have a good summer," don't write in it at all. I'm like, you can't. I'm like, get away from my book. That was for 12-year-old me. That was the equivalent of being like, oh, it's gonna be harsh. Run into traffic.
What?
Like I don't respect you enough to write anything
Don't
heartfelt.
tell me to
We
have a
had
good
this
summer.
we had this whole year together, and all you could muster up was eggs. Nah, man, you
I feel
absolutely
like
not.
at least for us, it was like a bit putting hags was like everybody knew that that was like the most generic thing to put as like a farewell for the
Yeah,
summer. So like at least I don't know, for us it felt like more of a bit than a serious like have a good summer, because
I
that
feel like
obviously
my
that's
generation
lame.
was the last of the because I'm 3 years older than MaeMaeTown.
Mhm.
Um, I feel like my generation was the last ones to be
Maybe.
unironically saying "Have a good summer."
That
So I
makes
think after
sense.
together, it was like parody of that saying,
Mhm.
"Oh, hags," which was fine. I would have allowed it if that was the case, but no, you have to leave. Somebody leave me a nice. I just want a nice little note once in a while.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was nice
Yeah.
too. I remember in high school, you know, like whenever you'd pass your yearbooks around and then you would read it afterwards, you were always hoping like that person you had a crush on would like confess their love for you in your yearbook.
Yeah.
It never really happened for me, but I was
But they would be the ones writing "Have a good summer." You're like, damn, it's like that,
and
huh?
I will have already like professed my love for them and then I get mine back from them and it's just like see you next year or whatever.
Mine would
Take it
be,
easy.
hey, Neo, you're really funny. You're a good friend. Hags.
Hags.
I bet. All right.
LOL.
Lol.
Okay. Lol.
Okay.
Man,
Oh, the yearbook meta.
high school was a trip.
I wish I had prepared this. I would have busted out a yearbook and read some of those comments.
Yeah, like I'd have to go to my parents' house, but I definitely still have them. I think that would be fun to read off some greatest hits from the yearbooks.
I I think in my eighth grade yearbook, because eighth grade was going into high school.
Mm-hmm.
It was our last time in the school, and I think the person I had a crush on at the time wrote her email in my book and said, "Add me on MSN Messenger," because that was the thing at the time.
That was for real.
And I think I did, but I don't think we talked even a single time.
She probably wrote that in everybody's
I think she
books.
wrote that in everybody's book. I think that's what's going on.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right,
She
well,
was just trying to flesh out that contact list. Be like, look how many friends
you
I
know what?
have.
And that was the thing because Facebook was just like coming out, right?
Oh, yeah. How many
Well,
friends you had on Facebook was like determined whether or not you were cool.
I feel like the social media stuff was just starting to pop off. This is
Mm
making me sound ancient, but Facebook was literally just coming out as I was going into high school.
hmm. Mm hmm. Yeah.
Well, most of my high school years are documented. Um, at Farmville,
Mournville's
JT in the
crazy,
chat
JT.
on Twitch says, uh, that was
Because
a big game. I think it
that
was like a
was.
decent game too.
Oh, yeah. No, it was a huge deal.
I
Um,
didn't play it, but I remember seeing the gift cards around the
the
local
gift
Shoppers
cards.
Drug Mart.
That's crazy. Because Facebook came out in 2006, right? That's when it like
I think it was
blew
2000.
up.
I think it blew up in 2007.
But it started in 2006, but it wasn't a thing for people until probably 2007, right?
Yeah, because I think in 2006 it was the Facebook,
Oh yeah.
and it was just for like college campuses or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't remember what Jesse Eisenberg said.
Who cares? I do
All I know is
remember.
he screwed over Spider-Man big time.
Yeah. I do remember I created a profile like in 2007. I think I was 13 at the time,
Okay.
maybe just about to be 14. Um yeah, I was in 7th grade. Middle school was weird.
Yeah,
Were
I
you
mean,
like were you cool in middle school?
I guess I was neutral. I wasn't bullied.
Yeah.
Um, I wasn't, not to sound like a tough person, but like I just wasn't bullyable.
Yeah.
Like I just refused to be bullyable. It was impossible.
Mhm. I believe
So
that.
like
I believe that actually.
if you're if you're gonna beat me up, you're just gonna have to kill me.
You're just gonna have to kill
Like,
me.
'cause I'm going to get up and like it's not gonna change anything. So,
That's fair.
uh, yeah, Cyberspeed on chats is just like no, he
You
still isn't bullyable.
you can't bully him literally. He's like a stone wall. Like he's so stubborn.
So I would say I was on good terms with basically everybody, and
Mhm.
this actually provided this includes like the I would say the more nerdy kids who would be
Mhm.
bullied, who I was often friends with because I was a safe person to be friends with.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So often like social workers in the school would come to me and be like, hey, Neodoodlez from Twitch.tv, this kid's getting kind of picked on, like you think you'd be friends with him or like just hang out with him for a little
For
bit. And I'd be like,
free?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, for free. I guess I should have asked for money now that I think about
Yeah,
it.
where was your compensation for that?
I
Just out of
guess
the
their
goodness of your
idea was
heart?
like, hey, I think it was out of the goodness of my heart. But
Crazy.
you know what? You know what helped me as well as nobody is mad at the kid who can draw.
Yeah.
That was another thing too. I just didn't I put myself in a position where and I did have to work for it. I'm not completely honest here. Sorry if I'm rambling a little bit, but
It's okay.
in younger elementary school I had very long hair, right?
Mhm.
And I that was enough to be picked on
Mhm.
in like third grade and younger. So it'd be like I would go to the school bathroom. This was like before I built any confidence as a person because
Mhm.
I'm a little baby, I'm a toddler. So it would be like, "Oh, you have long hair. You're a girl. You can't be in here." You know, and like
Yeah.
the older kids would be saying something like that too.
Mhm.
But besides that, it's like it never led to like a physical altercation at all. It was just like generic, like kids just being kids, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But in the older grades, once we became like more sentient, like
Mhm.
that was not a factor, thankfully. But
Yeah.
not everybody has that because I didn't have anything blatant that they could pick on,
Mhm.
which is a shame because sometimes you just can't help that, right?
Right.
Whether it be like, oh, maybe one of your features is a little bit not traditional looking,
Mhm.
or Maybe you're a little bit heavier, maybe you're a little bit skinnier, like, just things, easy targets. That's what kids will pick on.
Yeah, totally.
Which I guess I didn't have any of those things, that it
Hmm.
was just immediately like, here's a good reason to bully you. So
You
I
just
don't know,
had
kids are
beautiful,
stupid.
luscious hair. That's it.
Eventually I just grew it out.
Yeah.
um but yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know.
Um, I was never really properly bullied in school. There's only one instance that I can think of where I was like properly bullied, like older kid. It was I'll tell the story. I was in elementary school. I was probably in like second grade, maybe not third grade. I think it was probably like first or second grade. I was really really young, and I would go to this after school program. And there were these fifth graders that every single time they would come and like taunt me. It was crazy because like I had siblings that were, in fifth grade, and like I think they might have been in my siblings' class. I don't know. Or they might have been a bit younger than my siblings. I don't know. But needless to say they were fifth graders. And
Mhm.
they for some reason singled me out, like I don't know why, but they would call me cheesy toes.
Cheesy toes, what was
They're
the
like,
origin of
cheesy
that?
toes. I have no idea. I don't know why they singled me out, but they would come and like just be like, "Hey, cheesy toes." Like they wouldn't touch me or do anything, but like they would just call me that. And I'm like, and it stuck. Obviously, I'm almost 30 years old. It stuck with me because I don't understand why.
That is so bizarre. I guess, you know what, earlier when I said that you need to have a physically obvious thing for
Like,
a kid to pick on, I guess if you don't, you get called cheesy toes.
yeah, still to this day, like they didn't know me personally, I'm pretty sure. So they had no reason to even mess with me. But
Yeah.
yeah, they call me cheesy toes.
Okay.
Wait, Neil says the cheese touch before the cheese touch? What is that?
What is the cheese
The
touch?
cheese touch?
What is the cheese touch?
I have no clue.
I can't say I know what the cheese touch is.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah, it was three. I can see them. I know exactly what they look like. I could probably find in a yearbook what their names are, and I will dox them on the podcast once I figure it out.
I don't like that we're being made fun of in chat. See, remember when I said we
No,
weren't bullyable? We are,
the
apparently, because chat's
cheese
bullying us right now
touch.
for yeah. So people in chat are saying, "Are you too old for the cheese touch?" Never mind. I guess Twitch chat is capable of bullying me, so I take back everything I said.
Can someone explain what the cheese touch is? Yeah, JT says the cheese tax. I know what the cheese tax is. I don't know
I
what
know
the
the cheese
cheese
tax is.
touch is. Yeah, somebody
What is the
explain
cheese touch?
that.
Cypress Beetle says my kids know cheese touch.
Oh, it's Diary of a Wimpy Kid. So yeah, that those books were kind of out of my, I don't know. Like
They
I
were out of my age range. I'm gonna look
yeah,
up when those came out.
I'm
Diary
fully
of a
aware of
Wimpy.
them in the movie and stuff like that, but I didn't personally read them. The cheese touch. What?
Okay, chat. Diary of a Wimpy Kid came out in 2007.
I
Wait,
was
no, wait.
like almost 14 years old when that came out.
I'm not reading this
The
book.
movie? No, the book came out when we were kids, right?
The original is a children's novel. Um, yeah, the original novel came out in 2007. Publication April 1st, 2007.
Oh, yeah, I was way
So,
too old.
no. Apparently, before that, it came out in 2004 online only, so you'd have to read it online.
Oh, well, we barely had online
No, I didn't have online in
back then.
2004. 2007, I was in the eighth grade. I'm not reading that.
Yeah. Okay, Cyber Beetle says Altair, I guess that's a character. You choose.
No, that's Cypress
Oh,
Beetle.
that's your son. Sorry. I've been having, what's crazy is I've been having these like brain fart memory things for the past 2 days
Yeah.
where I'm like, oh, remember that really funny bit that we had? And then I can't remember it. It's like deja vu, but I can't remember any details of like what we were laughing about.
You've been having this a lot lately,
We were
too.
watching The Walking Dead today, and I have never seen The Walking Dead, and there was a scene playing out, and I was like, oh my God, I remember watching this. And then I can't remember where I watched it or who I watched it with. I'm like, wait, did I?
It was a big show, so maybe, or maybe you saw a similar scene in a different show.
Maybe. It's so weird. But anyway, so Altair says you choose someone who will have the cheese touch and they have to
You have to read
tag
it in
other
the kid's
people.
voice.
You choose someone who will have the cheese touch and they have to tag other people and it gives other people the cheese touch.
Is that good?
That's my favorite. That's perfect. That's great.
Sorry.
It's like he's in the room with us
It's
right
like
now.
he's here. Okay, so it's
Oh, it's
tag,
good.
but it's called the cheese touch.
Oh, that sounds more similar to I think Manhunt, because Manhunt,
Mm-hmm.
you would get the people and then they would join your team,
Yeah, totally.
right?
Okay.
So I think Cheese Touch is just a nicer Manhunt.
Yeah. Cheesy touch. Okay, Cypress Beetle also says it sounds like cooties. Yeah, that's what I thought when I first heard that. Cooties.
Silver wants to know if this is a VOD. This is a VOD. This is an old recording.
We're in.
We are not
Yeah.
we are not currently live. It's just not the
Nope, we're
case.
not live.
Sorry, Spotify. This was pre-recorded.
Yeah. This was recorded a month ago.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. um,
Now I live in Atlanta and she lives in
I know,
Toronto.
I live in Toronto, baby. Now I got the hell out of here, thank God.
Oh my God. Why?
Speaking of,
What is going on in your
speaking
country?
of, but also don't want to speak of.
Oh, yeah, this isn't a political podcast, but
It's not at
Sarah's
all,
been
and I
crazy right now.
actually have a chat rule about political comments, but we all know what's going on, and that's all I'm gonna say. I'm scared. Is all I'm gonna say.
I will say one comment. I will not elaborate. I will not elaborate. How do you miss? Anyway, that's it. That's all I'm saying. I'm
All
not
I'm
saying
saying
what
is
I'm referring
a
to.
fire
That's
and a
it.
mist, and a fire and a mist.
I missed. I missed.
Had a popsicle passed out in the snow.
Woke up,
Yeah.
fired, missed.
I hit something, but it wasn't what I was initially going for, and then a fire and a mist and passed out. Let this shit show begin is so
Oh my goodness.
real. How do you miss?
How do you miss?
I like, and I'm not, obviously, don't come for me. I'm not saying anything one way or another. I'm just
Nope.
saying that's
That's not what I'm saying
crazy.
either. I don't know what I'm talking
I'm
about.
just saying that's crazy, and yep,
And that's it.
and that's it. And I am moving to Canada.
Oh, let's go.
At least that'll give us some time before it eventually comes to you guys.
Yeah, which it is.
To
This
us.
little dividing part in between the screens right
Yeah.
here. This just imagine the podcast will be the same. It just won't be. This won't be here.
Yeah.
So that's it.
A day after your birthday, Noodle. I can't believe that. Take chat
Oh
with
my
you.
goodness.
Yeah, you guys are coming with me.
I'm not gonna say now. Okay. I actually sent a picture to MaeMaeTown the other day, yesterday, in fact, of all these. Once again, I'm not saying anything one way or the other, but just all these political protesters
Mm-hmm.
outside of a Starbucks, just
Of
with
course.
all their like, oh, Trudeau's gotta die, all this stuff, and I'm just like, man, yeah. Things are popping off, I think, everywhere.
Oh,
I
North
think,
America is screwed.
oh my God.
Screwed. Screwed, screwed. I've also been getting pushed a lot of Handmaid's Tale TikToks recently, and I really don't appreciate that. Really don't
What is that
appreciate.
again?
So yeah, you didn't know about Handmaid's Tale. I feel like a lot of people probably do at this point, but it's basically I like, how do I even describe this properly, because it is so horrible. It's like a kind of like a dystopian future America, religious America, where women have no rights and they're forced to give birth for families, and like
Mm,
it's all like in the name of God, blah blah blah. And the whole story follows, certain like handmaids and stuff like that, and basically like Canada is involved as like a safe haven for people who are able to escape. And
Okay.
I've been seeing clips from the newest season, and now it's like, oh, now Canada is getting involved. Like it's bleeding into Canada because they're like having relationships with like the politicians, and so now they're like, oh, well, you guys can have this small part of the province, and we'll have our laws and you guys have your laws. And it's just like, oh, that is way too realistic.
It's kind of hitting home right now.
And it's just so like it's a great show, like it's a very well made show, but it's really hard to watch because they show you how it gets to that point, and it's like
Yeah.
things that are happening right now. And just the way it escalates, it's like, oh, this could happen. Yeah, this could happen. And I just, yeah, it's, oh god, I hate getting clips from the show.
Yeah, yeah. That's why, it's nice to be able to just watch Walking Dead for 12
That's
hours
exactly why.
because
Because it's like, I
if
would
I pay attention to
honestly,
anything else too hard, I think I would be just sad, and I don't really want to be right now.
if I had to choose which fate, I would choose The Walking Dead over that.
You're choosing the zombie apocalypse?
At least I would have a control over my own life.
There is a sense of freedom that comes with the apocalypse.
No government.
No government.
No government. That's a big one right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Free.
Do I think conditions get a little bit more dangerous?
No rules.
Yes.
And
But no rules. You'll never have to do a rule
you'll
again.
never have to do a rule again, shirt brother.
Just promise me one thing, shirt brother. You'll never do another rule.
I can't promise that. But like, yeah, with The Walking Dead, it's like, yes, zombies, but also like you kind of decide your fate. Like, do you want to group up with people? Do you want to be alone? I would take having to learn to survive than being forced to do things that I wouldn't do.
Yeah.
You know?
I think I could learn how to be pretty good in the apocalypse
Yeah.
because currently, like, I'm fairly fit, but I'm not handy.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I could power through with some muscle, I guess.
Yeah.
But I would need to learn some skills. So I don't know how to do anything.
Same.
Yeah, I
Especially
can't
combat.
do nothing. Yeah, exactly. I'm not a fighter in any sense of the word.
Yeah.
So don't know any of that. So I'd have to learn that, and also, um, I don't know how to start a fire. So
Yeah. Well,
there
we'll
you
start
go.
there.
Let's do that one first,
Let's
and
do
then
that one
we'll move
first.
on to the boxing match.
Oh my gosh. No, I would definitely pick The Walking Dead over The Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah, that sounds a little bit better. I
100%.
would I would pick the world of, I think, Lost.
Okay, so being on an island.
I'd be on a deserted island rather than the zombie apocalypse. Though with the zombie, no, it depends what food is available.
Well, because with the island, you're limited to what's on the island, but in The Walking Dead, you have the whole country. You have the whole continent.
Exactly.
When are they going to
Now
go to
it is.
Canada in the show?
They should go to Canada. First of all, they should first and foremost they should go to Canada.
We just got to
Second of
season
all,
10, so don't, no spoilers, but,
I don't think anybody in the chat has watched up to that point.
well, you guys
The
should.
majority of people have dipped out.
You guys absolutely should. If you have not watched The Walking Dead, you need to watch The Walking
Okay,
Dead.
I want to ask from the chat. Sorry, for VOD watchers or Spotify listeners, we do have an active chat on
Mm-hmm.
twitch.tv/MaeMaeTown. Go check out the live podcast recorded every Sunday there.
Yes.
Sometimes we do refer to the chat. So to this moment where I would like to ask the chat, who has finished The Walking Dead?
Who has finished The Walking Dead? Anybody? Anybody? Bueller?
I think Cypress Beetle in chat has.
Looks like Keegs might
But-
have.
Okay, Keegs.
Keegs has finished it.
Okay. So Keegs has finished it. I'm a
Mhm.
huge Walking Dead fan as well, but I have not finished it. I've only finished through season 10. So we're almost at the point where I stopped watching just because that is a lot of years commitment. And I
Mm-hmm.
was watching it as it was coming out. Now, I did want to ask you something in regards to, I'm not going to say the spoiler, but that's actually kind of the point. So in regards to the end of season 6, I think it was at this point,
Mm-hmm.
when the big thing happened where a lot of people stopped watching.
Yes.
And you didn't want me to talk about this.
Okay.
And I didn't want people talking in chat about it, even though I do think it is socially acceptable to talk about
Okay.
because it happened, God, a decade ago.
It happened a long time ago. Yeah.
Not maybe not a decade, but like almost like 7, 8
Mm-hmm.
years.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to know by your perspective, when is it appropriate to talk about these spoilers? So I think that event is not only well known, but it's also old enough to be talked about.
I mean, you can make the argument for any show, right? Like, when when is it okay to talk about what happens in any of those long time shows like Lost? Like, when is it appropriate
Yeah,
to talk about Lost spoilers, right? That happened 20 years ago.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like cuz I do like I'm desperate to talk about The Walking Dead always because it's such a great show and
Mhm.
there's so much to unpack with the show. I mean, like I guess as long as you give spoiler alerts, then it's fine. I just feel bad. I feel bad because it's like I want people to be included, but also what if people never watch the show, then I can never talk about it?
I feel like
I don't know.
that's a good balance, is giving that spoiler alert, being like, hey, spoilers, I'm about to talk about the thing,
The thing, but
which we're
then it's
not right
like
now, but
but also it's like sometimes it's hard for people to know exactly what you're referring to before you start talking about it. Like maybe they think the thing is something entirely different. And they're
well,
like,
they
"Oh, I
won't
think
know
it's
what the
weird."
thing
Okay.
is. So I'd be more specific. I'd be like, oh yeah, season 6 finale
Mm-hmm.
or mid-season finale. I don't even remember what it was. I think it was finale. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
the
was
finale.
it?
Yeah.
What a crazy
Uh,
finale.
that was a crazy finale.
Oof.
Big finale.
Jeez.
Uh, but yeah, I mean, Walking Dead's been kind of you've been creating a space where you can talk about it because it's been your
Mm-hmm.
hyperfixation lately,
Oh yeah. I'm playing the
and
games
not
right
just
now.
that's what I was gonna say.
If you haven't been plugged into my streams recently, all I've been streaming is the Walking Dead game. I'm on season 2 now and it's literally like it's one of the best series that I've ever played. So
I knew you would love it because you've played things like, this is gonna be a funny comparison, but like Freddy Fish.
yeah,
You played Freddy Fish on stream. I'm like,
because you
well,
click on things.
no, because I feel like it's just like it's that type of slow action, whereas like the flow of the game is you get a little dialogue thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then you are free to explore this room and just interact with small little things
Yeah.
until you find the one item of that maybe unlocks this one thing
Mm-hmm.
that'll lead to this thing. It's very much the exact same flow as Freddy the Fish.
Yeah. Freddy
Sorry,
the
Freddy
Fish.
Fish. Not Freddy,
Sorry,
not
please
Freddy.
call him by his Christian name.
Her by her Christian name, but anyway.
Sorry. Frick. I should just
This whole
end.
podcast
I should
falling
just end the
apart.
podcast right now. No, I
Freddy, I'm
misgendered
sorry.
Freddy. I'm sorry.
Darn it.
I'm
Oh my
sorry.
god. On Pride Month.
Freddie. May is canceled. No, everyone's canceling me in the chat.
Noodle. No,
Noodle,
it's not good for you.
nothing happened. Nothing happened. You didn't miss anything. Listen, I spent my whole childhood thinking that Freddie was a boy. I don't know
Yeah.
why.
Well, that's pretty. I mean, you don't have any like concept of like gender neutral names
Yeah,
or terms. So you hear the word Freddy, you think, well, my only experience with the name Fred has been Fred Flintstone. So,
yeah, yeah,
and it wasn't until
exactly.
later games that they added the eyelashes on her, so you could, I guess,
True.
differentiate. Which I don't think is a good change, but whatever.
Do they? I'm sure they do, but do they ever refer to Freddie with like she pronouns? I
I
think
think they
so.
do.
Luther probably does, right?
I think, yeah, but I mean, I guess they mostly just say Freddy.
Freddy Fazbear, no, no Freddy Fish Noodle.
Freddy Fish, Freddy Fish.
Oh my
Um,
god. Man, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry to all the Freddy Fish fans out there. It was an honest mistake.
Honest mistake that I know, because I had that same perspective. I mean, we were talking about this the
Yeah.
other day about how like we're looking for strong women representation in games.
Uh-huh.
And one of the examples you brought up, this is actually in a previous episode of the podcast, I think episode 7. So go check that out on Spotify and YouTube. But anyway,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
we're talking about how one of the big examples that somebody brought up in the YouTube content comment for you was Samus from Metroid,
Yes.
where there was this big reveal that it was a woman this whole time, and
Mm-hmm.
it was like an ending. If you beat the game fast enough, she takes off her armor. That
Yeah.
was in the first one on NES. That was like a reveal in the 80s, but I hadn't played that, so I didn't know that Samus was a woman until I played Smash Brothers. And Pikachu can electric shock characters,
Mm-hmm.
and if you pause at the right moment, you can see their skeleton, which is kind of cool.
Weird.
But except for Samus, you just see a figure of a woman inside, and that's how I found out.
Wow.
Yeah, but I feel like a lot of people found that out that way as well. But I mean, Freddy the Fish is a similar thing where it's just like, yeah, you had this character that could be a cool, I guess role model
Mm-hmm.
for girls,
Oh
but
yeah.
nobody knows that it's
Nobody
a girl. I feel
knew.
like naming her Freddy was a strategic choice because they're like, well, if we make it blatantly like Stacy the Fish, then boys aren't going to play it because they're little boys. And they're gonna
True.
be like, that's for girls.
Which back in the
So
90s, that was like a valid reason for little boys to not play a game because they thought it was for girls. Not saying
yeah,
it's
yeah.
right, but from an old marketing perspective, I could see why they would do that.
And actually, Noodle in the chat brings up a good point. Blue's Clues.
Yeah, Blue is a girl.
Blue is a girl.
Blue is a girl.
They don't say that often.
Blue is a girl and Magenta is a boy. I'm pretty sure.
Is Magenta a boy?
I
I think they're both
think
girls.
are they both girls? I
I think
thought
they're
I
both
heard
girls.
somewhere
Yeah.
that Magenta was a boy, but I could be wrong.
That would have been cool. That would have been cool, but I don't. I think they're both girls, but I
That would
might
have
be
been dope.
incorrect. Somebody in the chat wants to clear that up.
I'm trying
That'd be
to
cool.
I'm trying to redeem myself from my past transgressions. Like you know in Blue's
Uh,
Clues that Magenta was a boy. Yeah, so it's like they did this whole like flip thing. It's really cool. Really.
that would be cool. That'd be great. I wish
Blue's
they would do
Clues
that. I'm
would.
still waiting. As a Power Rangers fan, now
Uh-huh.
I'm not going to flood your podcast with Power Rangers, but I love me some Power Rangers. I'm still waiting for a a man to play a Pink Ranger and
Yeah.
for a woman to be a Red Ranger, which has happened a couple times, but not really like long term. I want the whole season of that.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I think that'd be cool. I think we need to get over the whole pink and blue thing.
Mhm.
Personally, pink being one of my favorite colors of all time.
I'm surprised they haven't done that yet. I almost feel like they did do that recently, but maybe not. That would be
Um,
cool.
that would be cool. That'd be cool.
Um JT says I can't tell you how many kids stopped watching Pokemon when they found out Ash was voiced by a woman. That's
They're in
crazy.
for
Big shock.
I guess a big shock because most kids in animation are played by women.
Yep,
So
most of them. Pretty much all of them.
most of them. I think the majority, except for like
Majority.
Sora from Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, I feel like the only time that an actual kid voiced a little boy character would be in a game. Like Tails was voiced by an actual kid for a certain amount of time, but that's because it's an isolated moment. You know, like
I think it's Sonic Heroes, was it?
it was Sonic. I think it was Sonic Heroes. I think it was like Sonic Adventure, maybe. No, there was one
I think
Sonic
it's
Adventure game.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's Sonic Heroes because I don't know who the voice is in that,
Hmm.
but it sounds like a little nasally kid, like "I'm Sonic."
Yeah, Sonic Adventure
Yeah,
2. Wasn't that voiced Tails was voiced by a little boy? Or was it Sonic
that I'm
Adventure
not sure.
DX?
It might be the.
Right? I don't know.
I don't
Anyways, well, the reason why they have women voice the kids on shows is because like they're going for like seasons, you know?
know. Yeah, this
A
is gonna
little
be the
boy
next
can't
next
stay
big
a little
show.
boy forever, so
Yeah,
of course it's voiced by an adult.
yeah. Ash is still voiced by a woman.
Yeah.
I mean, Ash isn't the protagonist anymore. Spoilers. See, when
Spoiler.
can I talk about this? When can I talk about the death of Ash Ketchum?
Yeah. First of all, Cypress Beetle says you. What about the little boy staying a little boy forever? Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, your little boy's gonna stay a little boy forever, Cypress Beetle.
It's gonna stay your little boy forever, for sure.
You're a little boy forever.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying
Oh my god.
your little boy will stay your little boy forever.
Of course he
Of
will.
course, of course. You
Um,
are a little boy forever.
you
Me
are.
talking to Veronica Taylor, Ash Ketchum's voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
um,
Bluey is a girl. I feel like they make that one more blatant.
mm-hmm.
Bluey from Bluey. I'm not super familiar with Bluey. I like it. I've watched
Mm-hmm.
some episodes and it's a very, very
Bluey's
good show. You
great.
played through the game.
Oh yeah, I played through the Bluey game recently, and what a lovely game, first of all. Like, kids are so lucky to have Bluey. Like, I've seen clips from that show that make me cry. Like,
Oh yeah.
oh, it's such a beautiful show, and it's such a good example for kids and parents to watch together, you know? Because like we had some great kids shows that adults can also enjoy, and I think Bluey is a continuation of that.
Yeah.
There's some shows today that I'm just like, oh god, this is just like brain rot for kids.
I
But
like when the shows, and this is the same reason why I like Simpsons, is when they can hit that emotional note as
oh
well as being
yeah.
genuinely funny.
Mm-hmm.
And Bluey does that. Like Bluey is, I think, the best kids show on TV right
Mm-hmm.
now. I don't think it's close.
Bluey is carrying the emotional intelligence education for kids right
Yeah,
now.
I
And
think
for
so.
adults too. Like it's a good reminder for adults in certain situations with kids.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a
And it's
huge
also nice
fan.
to see a more like strong main character representation for girls as well.
Yeah.
Um, I still do think they're pulling a little bit of the 90s marketing scheme of like, let's make this character blue so it appeals to boys as well.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think Powerpuff Girls did
Yeah.
a lot for Western culture for getting boys over that little hurdle of
Absolutely.
pink and blue. Because I mean, I was never like that anyway. I always loved my favorite shows were Care Bears. I
Mm-hmm.
had a Rainbow Bright doll. She was my favorite thing. I just liked colorful things. But
Yeah.
for most boys my age, they they would often dismiss like the pink things or the
Mm-hmm.
girl things. I didn't really care. I grew up in a house full of like women and girls.
Yeah.
So that was like a normal thing for me. I didn't really care.
Mm-hmm.
But Powerpuff Girls, I feel like was. I remember I ordered. This is actually a cute little story. You guys had Scholastic Book Order,
Yes.
right? So we had that as well, and I ordered in the fourth grade a Powerpuff Girls Mad Libs book
Ooh.
that I had planned just to take home. Maybe me and my cousin play it or something like that. It was gonna
Mm-hmm.
be a good time. But I remember my teacher, he was going through the box of orders and he pulls this one up and he says, "Oh, we got Mad Libs for Neodoodles." I'm like, "Oh, cool, awesome." And he goes, "Can we play this like as a class?" And I was like worried because I was like, "Well, I'm probably gonna get made fun of." I was in a new school at this time, by the way.
Yeah.
This is my first year in this school. I was worried. I'm like, I'm gonna get made fun of because like this is probably seen as like a girl's thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, So I was just like, I guess so. And didn't this class have the most fun freaking time
Oh
playing
yeah.
Powerpuff Girls Mad Libs? And that just like all my worries were gone. I was like, dang, Powerpuff
Mm-hmm.
Girls is that cool that no one's gonna make fun of you for it.
Oh man,
So
yeah. Powerpuff Girls is the best. It was the best. Like, just yeah, it was so cool. I don't know.
it was so cool, yeah.
Yeah. I
Um,
love that story.
I still got my Blossom. I have a Blossom plushie up there somewhere. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. Nobody likes Blossom. I like Blossom. She's my favorite one.
Blossom's
But
cool. I I think I liked Buttercup a lot.
yeah, I mean, Blossom's the easy least favorite, and I can see why. Her
It's
thing is
yeah.
just kind of like she's the leader.
She has
She
to
doesn't
be a
really have any
bit like
defining features.
harder, like harsher than the other two, like kind of lay down the law. But
Yeah.
I think for me, Bubbles was really cute, but I think she was a little too much for me, like
Mm.
energetically, like she was just on one all the time. And then Buttercup just like was the other extreme where she was just like more like rough and tough. But I liked that I liked those types of characters when I was a kid. Like like Billy and Mandy. I love Mandy. She's like my favorite character.
Yeah, you like the
I
edgy
did.
kind of attitude characters, which is why you're such a big Sonic fan as well.
Oh yeah, it makes
Yeah.
total sense.
Um,
Um,
the Noodle says Blossom was my favorite because she was pink, and I loved pink as a kid. Hey, I was drawn to anything pink. You got a
yeah.
pink character. I got an action figure. Not to bring up Power Rangers again. I'm sorry, I keep bringing this up, but I got a pink Power Ranger figure on my wall.
Mm-hmm.
I got Amy Rose figure on my wall.
Oh
I
yeah,
got
Amy.
this isn't pink, but I got a bunch of Cinnamoroll behind me. I got
Mm-hmm.
a mountain of them. So I don't know.
We love cinema roll in this house.
Freaking love Cinnamoroll.
Steven Universe is the best example of the boy VA. His voice matured, so his early season 1 voice sounds very different from his later season 1. Well, yeah, because he, I think it's okay for animated characters to grow up. Because I think that's impactful for kids who are also growing up.
Yeah.
And it's like their voices are going to change too as they get older. So I think it's cool when a show has a character that actually like ages because it's like that's real, you know?
Yeah.
But I can see
Well, I
like
think
sorry, what?
sorry. No, that was my. I just had a thought come in my head and I accidentally said it. Sorry, continue.
I was just gonna say I can see why they'd want to keep it consistent with their branding, you know?
Yeah,
But that was all I was
but I
gonna
like when the
say.
show adapts to it to the deeper voice as well. It makes
Yeah.
like slightly more mature stories about more real things.
Yeah, it's like it really does
Um,
open up the writing for the character because they're going to go through new things every season, right? Because they're going to be older. It's like The
yeah,
Walking Dead, how the characters age, and it's like, okay, now they're dealing with much deeper issues. Like that's a cool thing.
they
Anyways,
were from the start, but I agree. Like the
I
things got more and
yes,
more
of
serious as they got
course,
more experience.
but like as
Uh,
like the kids, like as they get older,
oh
they're not
yeah,
as protected anymore, right? Like they have to deal
they're
with
not treated
things.
like kids
Yeah, they're not treated
anymore.
like kids.
Yeah, like for example in The Walking Dead, where they're treating the main character as a real threat,
Yeah.
which is valid, even though she's 11 years old.
Mhm.
Um, Cyberspiel says Bluey is on the level or past the level of original Arthur, who I think was also voiced by a young boy as well.
Mhm. I think
I
so
think
too.
originally, and I think currently as well.
Yeah.
Is Arthur still on?
No, they just finished it, didn't they? They finished it with like
They had
that.
the future episode,
Yeah, wasn't that the end?
but I feel like they've done more stuff since because you'll see TikToks with Arthur talking to other people, like a
Yeah.
official PBS TikTok. So I feel like Arthur still has a voice and pops up sometimes. Maybe they just don't have new episodes. I don't know.
Yeah,
Or
maybe
maybe they
they're
just
capitalizing on the whole TikTok thing still, but they're not
like how
making episodes.
Nanoland is. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and that is so smart too because it's still a way for them to make money, you
Yeah, you
know?
don't have to pay to, produce a whole show when you can make a silly little dance.
Yeah. It's interesting to think about like how does that work contractually now for actors? Like are there now social media contracts for actors even after
Yeah,
the
that's
show
true.
ends?
I guess they would have to probably figure out the new social media meta because like they're
Mhm.
basically getting free marketing, free airtime, free branding.
Yeah. So it's like how do they
Uh,
get paid? I don't know.
yeah. Well, I guess they have the like creator program and stuff, but
Yeah,
I
if
don't know.
they earn, they can earn per view, but
Yeah,
like I don't know. There's a lot of moving parts with that I don't understand, but I'm sure they make money somehow.
yeah. I had a real quick Arthur comment in
Uh-huh.
chat. Keeg says the gay rat wedding ended Arthur. Do you remember hearing about that?
The gay rat wedding? You mean Mr.
Yeah,
Ratburn?
Mr. Ratburn is. Did you see the clip?
I think so. It
You
ended the
want?
show?
Well, a lot of people that was obviously controversial.
Of
And my only
course.
problem with it here, you want to hear my problem with it? This is an actual thing. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's amazing. I think representation is amazing.
Yeah.
My problem with it is I think Mr. Ratburn can do better.
Yeah, that's the only issue. He
I think
settled.
Mr. Ratburn's husband looks like a peanut.
Mr. Ratburn is,
I,
first of all, Mr. Ratburn is
Mr.
hot.
He's hot.
Second
He's
of all,
he's confident. He's smart. And he's caring. But I
yeah,
think Mr. Ratburn's husband is now Mr. Peanut.
he looks like Mr. Peanut. That's crazy. No, seriously, he could have done
They
better.
gave him the ugliest husband,
That's
and I'm
crazy.
sure he has redeeming qualities, but I don't know, man.
Yeah, I'm sure he has a good personality. I'm sure he
A
does,
great personality.
amongst other things. He must.
Oh, yeah,
That's crazy. Yeah, you're right.
yeah.
Personality.
But rest in peace, Arthur.
Rest in
Bluey,
peace.
Bluey will take over, I'm sure.
Bluey, yeah, Bluey's doing a pretty good job of taking over in the emotional intelligence department for sure. Arthur is still, oh, I loved Arthur growing up.
It was really good for that with Simpsons as well.
Simpsons, yeah, that's a great show.
There's a few episodes of that show that will frig you up.
Oh
That'll make you
yeah,
cry for sure.
yeah.
And that's what I want in my cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Another,
only watching these things to cry.
yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Another adult animated series that I love that some people are on the fence about is Bob's Burgers. I know it's like not for everybody, but for me that's another show that has like emotionally intelligent episodes and moments that I really love. The movie actually, like the ending of the movie is will make you cry. Like it's really beautiful.
I I watched that in theaters. I'm not like a super like Bob's Burgers fan. I like
Mhm.
it. I just haven't watched a lot of it, but I agree. There's like a lot of heartfelt moments in that show. I feel like especially with like Bob, the character Bob.
Oh yeah.
Um, I don't know. He's just like a real guy,
He's
you
just
know.
trying to support his family and like make his business work, and despite like how many obstacles come their way, and like they're just like in the opening like theme, like the business keeps getting just like taken down and stuff, and they just keep trying, and I think that's really cool.
It's also refreshing to see like Bob and Linda. They have like such a genuinely loving
Oh my
relationship.
god, their goals.
They're first of all, they're amazing.
Yeah.
They're both really good characters, and second of all, like he's a genuinely good dad too. Like he's
Yeah.
I don't know, he's a kind man, and you don't really see this as like protagonist people because like
Hmm.
Peter Griffin, terrible husband, terrible father, right?
Yeah.
Um, Homer, well-meaning man,
Hmm.
nice guy, but in no way can you justify saying this is a good husband or father.
No.
He's trying. He means well. He does. And
Hmm.
Homer has a great heart, but he's just not. He sucks. Like he's a really stupid drunk, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, that's what he will always
And
be.
so is
He has his moments, but I guess so does everybody.
Peter and Homer. They're almost identical characters.
Yeah, I feel like Peter's a little smarter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Homer is a better person than Peter.
Hmm.
But besides that, they're similar.
Yeah. But
Yeah, I'll agree. And then where does Hank Hill fall in that?
Hank Hill is a good husband and a great dad. He's just Southern.
I think he's Southern. I think that's his. I think that's the main issue. I think he's
Yeah.
good as well, but I think he has a lot of growing to do, but he comes
Hmm.
through when it counts.
He's a great husband and a great father, but he comes from an upbringing that is very close-minded,
Yeah,
and he's from Texas, which not all of Texas is very progressive.
yeah.
But he no, he would literally take a bullet for his family. Like
Oh yeah,
he's a great person. He just doesn't have a lot of experience with like the world outside of his hometown, which is that's normal. There's like people like that everywhere, but
yeah.
he's a
But at the
good
same time,
person.
I think he's a good person. I think if Bobby were to be like, "Hey, Dad, I'm gay," I feel like it would take him the episode to like fully
Yeah.
accept it, but he would accept it, and he would never shut
Yeah.
out his kids. Like he would
Because
never
yeah.
like Bobby's already a disappointment to Hank, but he
Yeah.
never lets him know that, you know? Like he never treats
No.
him differently before that and he never like will abandon him for
Yeah.
that. So I think
Also
that's good.
like
I think he's a good dad.
he's married to Peggy, and Peggy can make him, like can open his mind to pretty much anything, I feel like.
That's true. Peggy is very open-minded.
She's very persuasive, and she is very open-minded with Bobby. Like, she doesn't try to make him feel bad about like anything.
You kind of have to be. You kind of have to be.
Yeah.
With a kid like Bobby, like you can't just be purely conservative mindset anymore. You just can't.
Yeah. JT
Like, you're
makes a
gonna have
good
to.
point. Cotton as a dad. So
Oh my God, Hank
Hank's
Hill's
dad,
dad.
if you've seen the show and you've seen Cotton, like the fact that Hank was able to, you know, get away from that, like without being a complete asshole, like
Yeah,
that's incredible that he, didn't turn out like his dad. So that's why I
yeah.
think he's an
Hey,
amazing
it's
person, because
hard
like,
to break free of your upbringing, but
yeah.
he managed to do so for the most part.
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, like you can see where that trauma comes from, you know? Which
Yeah,
is, like I said, it's really normal in the South for like men especially to not be able to break from those traditional, viewpoints and mindsets because it was beaten into their heads as kids. So I give him, like, I coming from the South, I give him a lot of leeway because I know it's not easy to break out of that sort of like bubble.
yeah,
But he genuinely is like he's a great father and a great husband, but he just has certain like views.
yeah.
Um,
So that's a whole lot. I'm not gonna get into that for a second.
yeah.
Um. Anyway,
Oh
I
man,
actually have one. I know we're kind of JT in the chat said that an hour has already flown by.
that's
That's true.
okay.
I feel like we have so much to say, and this has been so much
Mm-hmm.
fun already. I kind of leave with one more story.
Yeah.
So I always say a lot of jokes about like not having a dad. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know my biological father. This isn't gonna get like a serious emotional
Mm-hmm.
moment or anything like that. But I've always had like different father figures in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Like my mom would try to meet new people, as people do.
Mm-hmm.
But the man that my mom's currently with has been in my life since I was 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So he's basically my dad. I call him my dad. I don't call
Yeah.
him dad, but I call him my dad, right? He's a good man, though he is a little bit, the nice word for conservative, a little bit
Mm-hmm.
old fashioned in his way of thinking. Now, when you have a bit of a weirdo kid, you kind of have to decide,
Yeah.
and I can relate with Bobby Hill on this.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a bit of a weirdo kid, you kind of have to adapt to that, and you kind of have to put that mindset aside.
Yep.
Who initially was very, maybe not, I'll say it, homophobic, who's a little bit
Mm-hmm.
homophobic. Um, I would, I would almost like train him in a way,
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
and I'd be like, because although I'm not gay, I am a big ally,
Mm-hmm.
and I will often act extra, like, I guess. I like a lot of effeminate things. Like I said, I have all my cinema rolls, Sanrio's
Mm-hmm.
typical like very effeminate thing. I love pink. I love I'll wear my pink hoodies and my just typical, I guess you could say, stereotypically girl things, I
Mm-hmm.
guess you could say. And I openly enjoy these things, and I will like be affectionate with my friends who are men, right? I'll give them like hugs and cuddles and stuff, and I kind of like to see. It's maybe it's a cruel experiment on my part, but I like it. Just to kind of see like, hey, here's somebody who loves me, who needs to kind of get over their way of thinking. How much
Yeah.
do you love
It's
me?
exposure therapy.
Yeah, yeah, and it's honestly worked. Like,
Yeah.
one of my best friends ever is a lesbian,
Mm-hmm.
and he loves her. You know,
Yeah.
she's been one of my best friends for well over a decade now,
Mm-hmm.
and he's so excited when she comes over. It's great. It's like, well, you can't be both,
Yeah,
so
you gotta
yeah,
pick a
you gotta
side.
choose, and
Which
I
I'll
love
just
that.
say
So
that he is a wonderful person and I love talking
great
to
man,
him.
great man. Yeah,
He's like one of the warmest people I've ever met, and just I really enjoy being around him. So that it's like all to say too, like, people come from certain upbringings, especially if they're older and they grew up in a time where that was how most people felt. Obviously, it's not correct, but it is hard for them to break out of those habits and that mindset because like that's all they knew. And if you felt
And
different, you were the weirdo, you know?
yeah,
Um,
exactly. And also they weren't like online back then. They weren't
yeah.
exposed to environments where um anybody who is
Mm-hmm.
considered different would be. It's
Well,
just
yeah.
their only exposure to the world was TV, and TV was very racist, very homophobic back then
Oh,
as well.
yeah. Well,
So it's just
talking
like,
about TV, it's like if like your parents, were born in the 50s or 60s, their only TV was, the black and white shows where it was a white family and, you know, a nuclear family with a boy and a girl, and
yep,
everyone did what they were supposed to, and then the episode ended. Like, in some families, that's all they allowed their kids to watch. Like, I can say my dad comes from one of those families where all he watched was Andy Griffith, and even in like the 70s when the most progressive TV shows were coming out,
yeah,
he couldn't tell me about them because he didn't watch them because that's not what
yeah.
he was raised to do. So it's just really hard for them to like, I don't know, to break out of that even though they're now being exposed to all this new
When it's
information.
yeah, when it's the only mindset they had, which is
Mhm.
why I'm kind of like willing to be not immediately dismiss someone for a certain view because I
Mhm.
know that maybe they're just misinformed.
They just don't know.
And yeah, they just don't know. And that's why
Mhm.
it's like, I'm living with an example of that where
Yeah.
uh, you know, I see this good man who's just a little like has a has a wrong view of things.
Yeah.
So me, as his son that he loves, I have the opportunity of now he has an obligation towards me. So
Yeah.
I get to kind of show him
Mhm.
uh how things are, I guess.
And everyone has the opportunity to adapt and learn and change, you know. But
Yeah.
for some people, it's just really hard because it's like, oh, everything that you thought was true, that your parents told you every single day, is a lie.
Yeah.
Like,
And that
imagine,
that radio told you, that TV told
yeah,
you.
your whole world
Yeah.
around you that you thought you knew is completely wrong and evil
Yeah.
and horrible. Like, imagine being told that one day. It's like,
Yeah.
well,
Imagine being told that the great Christopher Columbus found this new land and he got to save it.
oh,
Wow.
wow, what a great
And you're
guy.
being taught that in schools? Yeah, that's as recent as me. I got
Yeah.
taught that in school. So,
Yeah, coming from as someone who was raised in Christian institutions, not even talking about the religion that I was taught, but taking normal classes in a Christian school, you don't learn the same things that public school kids learn. So, all the
yeah.
history books, all the science classes, all being taught through a religious lens. I
Hmm.
got to college, which was still a Christian school. I went to Christian school for like my whole life, basically. I still met, kids that were there for the arts. They weren't Christian, they didn't care about that. I felt very inequipped to have basic discussions with people because I didn't learn about, certain history stories that really went down. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't learn the hard truths about history and science. So, like, I can definitely relate with, having to basically educate myself as a almost 30-year-old every single day. I'm having to learn things
Oh
that I
yeah,
should
I'm
have
still
learned when
learning
I
too.
was
I feel like
12,
everybody is.
you know?
Yeah.
So it's a process, guys, and I think we can change our perspectives, but it is hard with parents and grandparents sometimes because you you want to have great relationships with them, but it can be really hard when they have bad things to say about your friends and the people that you love.
Yeah. I feel like people can change, you know, and sometimes we have power to change them.
Yeah, but it's not your responsibility
It's
to
not.
do
And I was
that.
actually going to say this. If sometimes that can be a potentially dangerous
Mhm.
situation as well. You got to watch out for that. Like I said, in my specific situation, I saw it as a good opportunity, but I'm not going to do that for a stranger.
Mhm.
I can't. That's not my responsibility to do, and that's also potentially dangerous.
Yeah.
Um, but sometimes with our own families, we can educate them so they're not,
Yeah.
homophobic, racist, all those other things
And
that sometimes family members can be, right?
if they make you feel bad, then guess what? You can just get up and leave.
Hey, you can just leave. Isn't that kind of fun?
Hey, if you're an adult, you can just get up and leave. You know,
Um,
if they don't want to have a civilized conversation with you about, you know, human rights, then you can just get up and leave. It's that easy.
yeah,
And
it's that
you
easy.
know, they might not understand, but at least you can go spend your energy elsewhere, which is very valuable, by the way.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That was one of the first things I said when I first moved away from home. I
Mhm.
said, I said to my family, I said, don't involve me in any family drama going forward.
Mhm.
Don't call me about it. I don't have to deal with it anymore.
Yeah.
Like, call to say hi, call to be fun, call to invite me to events,
Yep.
and that's it.
And that's
That's
it,
it.
baby.
That was very nice.
Oh
But
god. Um
yeah, that's great. I will say, MaeMaeTown from Twitch.tv.
yes.
Good luck in naming this episode.
You know, here's the thing, guys. I never know what the hell to call my episodes because I talk about so many different things. I'm like, how do I even summarize? How do people summarize their podcast episodes when they don't have like a specific guest on? You know, like,
Yeah,
so I'm just gonna listen back to this and we'll call this the political episode.
we talked a lot about cartoons.
See, we talked a lot about cartoons and human rights. Like, I don't know. I don't know, man. The
I feel
Ratburn
like this,
syndrome.
like your podcast is usually a ride. I feel like this one
Yep.
was the bumpiest.
This is the bumpiest ride we've had. And
Yeah,
we're almost next week it'll be episode 10, y'all. We are almost at the double digits here.
that's wild. Hey,
It's
congrats
crazy.
for doing the podcast. I love it.
Thank you. I need the congratulations because there's some days where I'm like, nah, I'm going to keep watching The Walking Dead and just disintegrate.
Are you talking about today?
Are you Nope. Needless to say, after this ends, we will be watching more Walking Dead.
We're gonna go back to watching The Walking. I thought you were playing The Walking Dead.
Mm. I
You're all
kind of
dressed
want to
up
watch
already.
it. I'm all dressed up for the
I don't watch Walking
podcast.
Dead. No.
Really? Are you sure?
Are you sure we gotta go back to streaming? Aw.
Mm. No, I already have I have two YouTube videos locked and loaded ready to go, so it's okay if I don't.
All right.
I'm the worst streamer ever.
I've been doing very poorly. I have not been streaming.
Sometimes it'd be like that, you know?
Well, it's after the 24-hour stream, I just kind of fizzled out, and then I
That
did
was
a
a
lot of
lot.
collab. It was a lot, but like I gotta get back into it. It's hard to stay consistent.
I know. I know we sound like
Yeah.
a bunch of whippering wieners, but
Oh, I can't
oh, I gotta stream today.
I don't want to play The Walking Dead because it's
He's
scary.
scary. That's not it. I love that game.
I know you do.
But I love watching it and I feel like things are where we are, like things are really interesting. So I'm like I really wanna see that
Yeah.
through, you know?
All right.
All
All right.
right. Well, let's go ahead and call this episode an episode. I appreciate everybody coming through with your chats and your comments. Thank you, Neodoodlez, for being on the podcast again. I know it's been a couple episodes since you were last on, so
Yeah,
um,
yeah. I think not since Florida, but
not
yeah.
since
No,
Florida.
I love doing the podcast too. So anytime you
Yeah.
want me to be on, I will be here.
And you will because I love doing this with you, and I think everybody else enjoys it as well. So, or just you guys let me know if you hate hearing him. I'll take him off.
I'll be gone right
You'll
away.
never hear from him
Say,
again.
As soon as you say I don't, I'm gone.
I'm gone.
Yeah.
Like a creature of the night, I will disappear. Anyways, guys, I hope everyone has a great week. Please go to my YouTube channel and catch up on previous episodes if you haven't already. I've got a lot of Walking Dead content. I've got GTA content on there. Give me a sub because I really appreciate it. And if you happen to watch any of the videos, please give it a like as well so I know that you're there. And also go follow Neodoodlez on Twitch, Neodoodlez with a Z, and that's on every platform.
Every platform.
YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Get on it.
And I gotta say, everyone listening, have a good summer.
Hags, baby.
Hags, baby.
Egg baby.
Okay, bye, guys. See ya.